Well, hello, fellow champions. It's me, Johnny, the champion within, coming to you today with I wrote them on the back of an envelope here, lab results. I just got off the phone with my nurse practitioner. This is a free service that was provided by my insurance company through my employer, Lowe's. Pretty cool deal. They sent me a kit. I had to fill out a survey, put my medical history on there, and then I was actually able to draw my own blood through this little thing where I put on my shoulder. It's probably very much like CGM, a continuous glucose monitor. I just put it on my shoulder, mash the button. I didn't even feel it, but it started filling up with blood, so I know it, punctured the skin. I put it in an envelope, a special envelope that had to be sent through UPS, and I sent it to the lab. It was marked, biohazard. It was something that they have a contract with UPS. But I just got the results back from the nurse practitioner, who, by the way, during the conversation we were talking about triglycerides. We only talked for 10, 12 minutes, but it was great. She mentioned, restricting carbs. So awesome that a health practitioner from a major medical company talking about the dangers of a high carb diet. But enough of that. Let's get to my numbers. So in a previous video I made when I had my blood drawn back in March, when I had the TIA or mini stroke when I was in Kansas City, we'll go over those results here. So my labs, this is back in March. Remember, this is, if you watch my video that went viral about carnivore hash stroke, and I was in the hospital overnight, and they drew my labs. And then in that video, towards the end of the video, if you watched the whole thing, you saw that I did post a screenshot of my lab results. Not going to screenshot it here, I'm just going to tell you what they were. So at that time, my total cholesterol was 120. Sounds good until you look at the breakdown. So back then, my LDL cholesterol, which is your bad cholesterol, was 50. That's very, very low, almost too low. So we needed to get that up. My HDL cholesterol, the so-called good cholesterol, was only 47. And my triglycerides were 113. But remember, I had been cheating on the carnivore diet pretty consistently, basically gorging myself and going overboard with eating carbs for a couple of months, really, before I had those labs drawn, which is what put me in the hospital to start with, was bouncing back and forth between carnivore and standard American donuts and junk and Rice Krispie treats and candy bars. I was kind of trying to find my way, but if you watch the video, you already know all that. So my triglycerides were 113 at the time. So if you did the math and you divide the triglycerides by the HDL, which kind of gives you a risk factor ratio for heart problems, my ratio back then was 2.4. So again, total cholesterol 120, HDL 47, LDL only 50, really too low, and triglycerides 113. So that was the labs from March 22nd or March 23rd of this year. Now, let's look at what's going on right now. Now, fast forward here to June, and I had this blood drawn. I drew the blood. I think it was June 2nd or 3rd. So just a few days ago, actually. This turnaround time was amazing. I overnighted it UPS. They paid for everything. The medical company that my insurance company contracts with, I think it was called Catamount Health or something. But they, great turnaround time to get the lab results. Had a nurse practitioner call me and go over my results and give me recommendations. But so I haven't had my hemoglobin A1C, my HbA1c checked in years and years. I know it was, when I had it checked 12 years ago, it was in the 7s. And my diet probably was not, any better for any length of time. So I think it's okay in this case to assume that my A1C prior to starting carnivore diet, which was 11 months ago, almost a year ago, was probably between 7 and 8. But I don't know that. That's conjecture. That's based on having it tested many, many years ago and then not changing my diet, not exercising, and remaining morbidly obese for all those years. So I would say that it was at least 7, probably in the 8, maybe even 9 range. But my A1C now, 5.3. How amazing is that? That's the lowest it's ever been when I've had it tested. And I haven't had it tested a lot. I haven't had it tested in, probably between 10 and 13 years ago. 5.3 on the A1C. Yes! I love it. Total cholesterol. Dun, dun, dun. Cue the organs from Phantom of the Opera. My total cholesterol, 149. Keep in mind, I'm sitting here eating some bacon, drinking my coffee with butter and heavy whipping cream, and I put a lot of butter in my coffee. And I had 6 scrambled eggs that were scrambled in the bacon grease. That's my norm. That's my go-to every day for breakfast. I eat it all the time because it's quick, it's easy, and it's relatively inexpensive. And with all that, my LDL actually came up, which is what I needed. My LDL cholesterol back in March was way too low. Now my LDL cholesterol is, drum roll please, 84. Keep in mind, I eat nothing but red meat, a little bit of pork every now and then, but primarily red meat, ribeyes, New York strip, a lot of chuck steak. I drank the fat juice right out of the pan when I cooked the steaks. I eat bacon and eggs and butter. I eat a stick of butter every single day. And my LDL is 84. My HDL came up some, which is great. It came up to 52. Now, the nurse practitioner told me that doing, resistance training and exercise, 3 or 4 times a week will actually improve that number. And you know what? She's right. Exercise is so important even when it comes to your lipid panel. Here's the best news of all of it. My triglycerides were cut almost in half. My triglycerides, 63. Yes! Triglycerides are fat inside the blood. And mine have been cut almost in half, down to 63. Again, she mentioned resistance training, exercise 3 to 4 days a week, a couple of hours, 3 or 4 hours a week will affect your triglycerides. And you know what? She's right again. So we interrupt this video for a special news bulletin. Actually, guys, I forgot to put in the video and I was rewatching it as I'm sitting here editing the video on my computer. I forgot to put in there my new, the risk profile, I guess. So back in March, my ratio was 2.4, where you divide your triglycerides by the HDL. And now it's been cut exactly in half. So if you do the math, my new risk factor ratio, cardiac risk factor ratio, dividing the triglycerides by the HDL is 1.2. So I literally cut my risk based on these numbers in half, from 2.4 to 1.2. How awesome is that? And now back to your regularly scheduled program. So I'm really, really happy about those numbers. The only thing that's still out of whack is, one, I am still in AFib. I can't seem to shake that. And my systolic blood pressure, the first number, the top number, is really good. It was 116, which I don't know if I've ever had a blood pressure that low. My bottom number was like 92, so I don't know why the diastolic is staying so high. And my resting heart rate was 94. Which she said, as long as it's below 100, you're really okay on that. And I didn't share with her that I'm in AFib because this had nothing to do with that, really. So if I can get my diastolic blood pressure down some, if I can get my heart rate down some, then I think those labs would be darn near spot on perfect for a 57-year-old who's been unhealthy for 45 years. Only in the last 11 months when I adopted the carnivore way of eating. And just as importantly, the last 6 months when I really focused on resistance training, movement, exercise, happiness, sunshine, grounding, all the stuff I do that are little add-ons to the carnivore diet has brought me to what I feel like is a great place. Now, having said all that, you can have these great numbers and have a CAC score through the roof. I haven't had my CAC score done. I don't know what the inside of my arteries look like. I know my kidney function was borderline last time. They didn't do kidney function in this test. But I plan on going maybe in August to ownyourlabs.com and get my own labs done. And in that, I'll do the kidney function test, the GFR, glomerular filtration rate test. It kind of measures the healthiness of your kidneys. But folks, this is amazing. And I know every story is different. But I believe the reason I have these results is twofold, not singular, twofold. My buddy, Coach Bronson Dan, I think he'll agree with me. And maybe other doctors will too. These lab results, which I'm so proud of, are not only a result of the carnivore way of eating, it's also resistance training, movement, running, jump rope, push-ups, weightlifting, all the stuff that I do on a very regular basis. One is fixing my metabolic health, but two is ensuring that I can go forward in age with less concern about injury and the sedentary life as you get older. This stuff is crucial. And the best part about it is it doesn't cost a dime. I've spent zero, well, I'm lying. I did spend a little bit of money building my weight set out, but I've been buying stuff at Walmart and Academy Sports one piece at a time, as you guys have seen. I think I spent $8 for that jump rope, and I've actually got a couple of them. That I got one for Christmas many years ago. I couldn't find it, so I go and buy me another jump rope, and then I come home, and when I was putting that jump rope up, I found the other one. So I got a couple of jump ropes. Push-ups are free. Sprints are free. Running 5Ks, which more news about that to come. It's like $25 or $30, so there's some cost in there, but you can go run without joining, actually doing, the actual timed thing where you get awards and stuff like that. You can just go run a 5K. Hell, you can walk around your neighborhood. It doesn't cost a dime. I'm tired of seeing people make excuses why they can't do this and why they can't do that. And I have a 44-hour-a-week job. I work 11 hours a day. It takes me 30 minutes to drive to work, 30 minutes to drive home. That's a 12-hour day, 4 days a week at my job, my full-time job, where I average 17,000 steps a day. And I still get my workouts in. Don't hand me any bull about excuses. There are none. If I can do this, and I'm an idiot, you can do this too, because odds are you're not an idiot. Anyway, folks, that's just some of the best news I've gotten in a long time. I really wanted to share that on this platform so that others could see that this can be a healing thing. So when people talk about being hyper responders, I can't identify with that because I'm not lean mass. I'm still obese. I'm not morbidly obese, but I'm still technically obese. And everybody's experience will be different because we're all genetically different. We're not some big group. We're genetically different. But I think these results would not have been this good outside of all the exercise that I do. Sure, the carnivore diet, for me, the carnivore diet was the genesis of the exercise. Because prior to going on the carnivore way of eating, I couldn't fathom doing any of the exercise that I do. But now that I eat a proper human diet and I move my body the way we're supposed to, and I'm continuing to evolve in the exercises that I do, for example, the broad jump, I'm going to start doing some, just jump up, see what my vertical height can be. I may go back to riding my BMX bicycle, doing that. I'm doing crab crawls, anything I can do to put my body in really contorted, uncomfortable positions to increase my flexibility and decrease the likelihood that I'll fall, break a hip, and die, before I'm 126. Anyway, guys, I'm rambling now. Gonna have me a little more coffee. I know I should switch to decaf. I love you guys. Take care. And remember, even with these lab results, carnivore, baby! Yeah. Woo! See ya.